Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the United Nations office at Vienna. Day one, the room in the building is buzzing. We have over 1,500 participants from 91 countries, and I'm very excited for this next Fireside Chat. My name is Robin Weiss, and as the Director of International Affairs at the Zero Project, I am very pleased that we are able to touch upon a really interesting topic today, specifically the economic cost of language disorders in Saudi Arabia. And we have some fantastic speakers. I would like to dive in immediately and give them the stage. So, salam alaikum, Mr. Al-Manari. It's a pleasure to have you with us online. And before you started, I'd want to outline a staggering figure that you shared with us from the recent study by the Faseeh Initiative that estimates that, and I quote here, the lifetime economic burden of language disorders in Saudi Arabia totals 190 billion riyals. And now if we consider that language disorders are some of the most common neurodevelopmental disabilities, this becomes a problem on several fronts. So my question is, Mr. Al-Nemari, as the founder and CEO of YNMO, how are you combating this challenge?
First of all, thank you for having us today. It's an honor. But before I start, I want to share that also I'm joined here by my colleague, Dr. Roa Sleiman. And myself and Dr. Roa, we have prepared a presentation to show you or to tell you a bit about the study, as well as answer this question throughout the presentation. So Robin, I just want to make sure, is it okay to do it that way? To present something and then we take more questions from you and maybe the rest of the people?
Absolutely. If you could dive in directly and let us know how YNMO is combating that. And as you mentioned, we're also very fortunate to have Rua Al-Saluman, the assistant professor at YNMO with us. So both Fahad and Rua, the virtual stage is yours.
Yes, thank you so much. First, it's a privilege really to be here today to discuss the cost of language disorder in Saudi Arabia. But before I begin, I want really to highlight the significant efforts Saudi Arabia has made to support child development, particularly early childhood education and services for children with disability. Under Vision 2030, the government has expanded access to early childhood education, improved quality of standard, strengthening early screening and also intervention program. Also, a nationwide initiative now ensure that more children receive support that they need. Additionally, policy and services for children with disability have expanded, integrating them into school, enhancing also the quality of rehab and education services, and also helping the family of these children as well. Despite the efforts, language disorder remain a critical issue with long-term consequences on education, employment, and social participation. And today, Dr. Roa and I will discuss the study that we conducted as a part of a social initiative. You mentioned Robin in the introduction, which is Faseeh Initiative. Faseeh Initiative is a social initiative that aims to provide early screening for language disorder. The initiative is in collaboration between us at YNMO and Al-Mahadib Social Foundation. At YNMO, we develop solutions that supports children with disabilities and their family. In particular, the solution that we use in Faseeh is an app where family can answer a very simple question to know whether their children have a risk of developmental language disorder. And if there is a risk, then the family get access to a virtual early intervention program. I'm not going to get into details about the solution right now. Rather, I will focus on the study very quickly. The study is also in collaboration with Dr. David Mendel. Who's an expert on health economics and also a consultant at the initiative, and he's from the University of Pennsylvania. Why are we focusing on language disorder? Because it's one of the most common and least detected neurodevelopmental disability of childhood. It's about 7%. And the impact of language disorder is not only limited to the child, but also it goes beyond to his family, and also it's considered a public health issue. And about 60 to 90% of children and those who are in juvenile detention facility have language disorder, compared to about 7 to 12% in the general population. So it's a very critical issue, and it must be addressed early on in life. The cause of language disorder, it really varies from one country to country, and also I'm sure, these costs has varied due to inflation and so many other factors. But in Australia, the annual cost per capita or per child is about it's more than $3,000. And in the United Kingdom, according to a study that was conducted in 2010, it's more than 1,000, and in the US, it's more than that. In Saudi Arabia, the cause of language disorder has, and even in the region, has not been investigated or examined. We tried through Faseeh to conduct different economic study, but to systematically estimate the cause of language disorder in Saudi Arabia was not done, to our knowledge, prior to the work that we will be presenting today. So the study really to estimate the cause of language disorder in Saudi Arabia, to inform policy, and also to with actionable insight, also for effective resources and allocation, to develop scalable and also effective early intervention solution.
Fahad, informed policy, that's a great segue to the question I would like to come in. With policy, what are the next steps? How are we going to move from education to employment? How are we going to be able to bridge that gap? And from what you've been able to learn with your study and your work at YNMO, what you see the potential being for policy change in the kingdom through the research data that you've been able to collect, and how will it impact the employment opportunities for persons with disabilities in Saudi Arabia? And we have 7 minutes left. I just, as a good moderator, I need to be mindful of our time. So I'd love to get the employment component from you.
Sure, and thank you for communicating this to us, and excuse us for the misunderstanding of how this is going to look like. But the employment was one key of the thing that we have examined in this study. And Dr. Roy, if you want to shed some light about the employment in particular, how early intervention help these children.
Sure, and then I think the answer, so this is a good location to point out the answer. So basically, we, as part of our methodology, we compared 3 different cases. In the first case, this is the case where the child would receive no intervention whatsoever. And then the 2 and 3, in the second case, the child would receive an intervention, but it will be a late intervention. And in the third case, the child will receive early intervention. And one of the advantages of that is that the child who received early intervention, if we look in the future, then this child will have a way higher opportunity to get employed and to even to jump in terms of how much they earn, from the 5th percentile in their salaries to up to the 70th percentile. So even these are the major model assumptions. And in those assumptions, if you look at the second row, you can see that in some cases, we take the individual from the 5th percentile to the 75th percentile. That's when the child received early intervention. While if the child received late intervention, then chances are he or she will only move from the 5th percentile to the 40th percentile. So we took employment into consideration as part of the major model assumptions. We also took things like employment of the mother. So if you look at the last column of the first row, we took into consideration a negative 48% reduction in mother's income because of taking care of that child. And then this slide here, we show that, okay, what are the lifetime costs per capita in the 3 cases that I just mentioned? So in the first one, yeah.
No, thank you, Doctor. If you allow me just to add that, Robin, very briefly, if providing scalable early intervention program will help these children, will increase the integration of these children in school, also increase their success and academic success, because there are some studies suggest that not providing early intervention to these children actually increase the likelihood of them dropping out from school. And if you drop out from school, then also your chances of getting job opportunity shrink. So providing early intervention is a key, not only to succeed in school, but also even to get a job and also to succeed at a job. And as Dr. Ra was saying, like we're not only we did not only assess whether you get a job or not, but we also went further where we also assess an incremental increase of the salary that you're making. So
Fahad, if I may jump in, with my eagle eyes, I spotted in the very bottom right the words ROI, return on investment. We have a lot of businesses here on the ground at the Zero Project Conference 2025. Yes. I would be interested, can you relay to us in the last 3 minutes of our fireside chat, what is the business case to be made here? What is the ROI on this early intervention that you've shared with us?
Sure. Go ahead, Victoria.
Okay, yeah, so if we provide early intervention, then for every rial spent, then the return of investment will be 8 rial, and that's good. And then even if you look at the late intervention, we still have 2.69, but that's as we can see, like that's less than what we get in the early intervention. And of course, obviously, when we do not intervene at all, there is no return of investment. And we can have a look at the first row also, where the cost itself, the lifetime cost per capita and the no intervention cost is 1.8 million compared to the cost in the later intervention and early intervention. So yeah, and even if you look at this ROI that we got, we were honestly very conservative in getting this number, because there were so many costs that we did not include, and then also benefits that we did not include. So for example, we excluded caregiver burdens, we excluded the broader impact on mental health, and also cost of any costs related to incarceration. And in addition to that, our data, we are definitely interested in improving it, because we don't have any regional data on the prevalence of language disorders here in Saudi Arabia. So we assume that if we improve that model, the ROI might even be a lot more than that.
Wonderful, and I'd love to take the opportunity to recap again for our audience what we were able to hear in today's fireside chat.
I was going to add something, Robin, if you like.
Please do.
Very quickly. Okay. So early intervention is not a rocket science. It's a very simple, and it can be done in the community. And this is what we're trying to convey through this study. And not providing early intervention is a far more expensive than providing it.
Absolutely.
And investment is not a choice, it's a must. And it's and in addition to its societal, social impact, also financially, the return are very, very, very great and worth doing.
Absolutely. So we've seen a pilot project run through an accessible app that has shown to us that in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, an 8-fold return if we do early intervention for language disorders. Thank you, Fahad, for giving us also an overview over the economic costs and also the solutions to this challenge. And we hope that this scales. And maybe you can leave our audience with information on where they can find you and where they can find YNMO, maybe the website, maybe your LinkedIn. So any last shout outs you want to put in less than 28 seconds? Go for it, Fahad.
Sure. You may contact me at Dr. Ra on LinkedIn. We're both on LinkedIn. And also, if you want to know more about the study, and also you can also visit us at ynmodata.com, and we'll be happy to. We look forward really to hearing from you.
Wonderful.
So
that
much
is ynmo.com. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and enjoy day one.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Robert.